Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here to talk about Love is Blind season 6. And we're going to be talking about all the episodes, y'all, 1 through 6. So if you ain't watched all of them, then I don't know if you want to listen. Don't listen quite yet because then you may get some things spoiled. But if you don't care about getting some things spoiled, then come on and join us. But we're going to talk about all 6 episodes. I can't be doing individual videos. I got to go to work. But anyway, I know we call it Love is Blind, but something definitely changed this season, y'all. Something definitely changed in that there was a whole lot of peeking. They couldn't have really seen everyone, but there was a whole lot of peeking. There were a whole lot of hints going on. First of all, the biggest one was when Chelsea was running around talking about she looked like Megan Fox. Girl, that was horrific. That was really, really horrific. What is it about women who want to say they look like Megan Fox? Remember last season? What was her name? Arena, or whatever it was. The one that was with Zach. Remember she was talking about she looked like Megan Fox? And we're like, no, you don't, girl. Do women think that they look like Megan Fox just because they have dark hair and dark eyebrows? Is that the only reason why they think they look like Megan Fox? Because let me tell you, Chelsea does not look like Megan Fox. Chelsea's face could look like maybe two of Megan Fox's face because Chelsea got a long face and a long chin. That was horrific. And you know what? Old boy fell for it. He fell for it. He fell for it. He really didn't want either one of the ladies. Let's be real. He didn't want Chelsea and he didn't want Jessica either. He was not interested in marrying Jessica with the 10-year-old child. That's not true. We all know that. And then the bombshell with Chelsea having been married before, he didn't want that either. He was stuck. He really should have cut his losses and just tried to make another connection with a whole nother lady. But he wanted to seem socially correct. He really didn't want to say out loud that he wasn't interested in a woman that had children. And he barely wanted to be interested in a woman that was divorced. We know it may not be politically correct, but it's exactly what he was thinking. And then he was stuck. And then when he found out Chelsea didn't look like what she looked like, it was all downhill from there. He running around here talking about he thinks she's so beautiful. No, she don't. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't at all. But we're going to be talking about all the little parts. I got these notes I took throughout each of the episodes. And so we're just going to be talking about it based on how I felt when I first saw the show. I think when, one thing I did put down was I just thought they talked too much about the way they looked. Everybody was doing it. It wasn't just Chelsea talking about she was Megan Fox. Brittany straight out said it to what's his name? What's the guy she married? Brittany married? I forget his name. Brittany and Kenneth. She even brought it up. She brought up the fact, she said she was trying to be slick with it. She was like, well, what are the ethnicities of your parents? Girl, just go and ask the man what he is. Is he black? She could tell he was. She goes, oh yeah, that's what I figured. And then later on she goes, well, I happen to be married a man that identifies as African American. Well, what else he's going to identify with? That's who he is. But I don't know. I guess some people don't identify with what they are. But I was kind of rubbed the wrong way when she said that he identifies as black. Identifies. I don't know. I guess we live in this era where people get to pick and choose. So, hey, I'm with it. He identified as African American. And then even AD said it when she was talking to Crazy Matthew. AD mentioned it when she was talking to Crazy Matthew about the fact that, she basically told him, well, I don't think she said she was black. She just said, have you ever dated blacks? But she tried to weave it in because there was a part when they were talking, y'all, when she said, what type of music do you listen to? That was her way of weaving it in. And he was like, oh, I listen to like classic rock or something. And she was like, oh, I listen to hip hop and R&B. And she was like, let me give this man a real good indication that I'm black. Make sure there ain't gonna be no problems. I think that's what she was thinking about. She didn't want a white man, not knowing she was black, and then she get left at the reveal or whatever else. But AD was really interesting, y'all. She, a lot of ways I liked AD, and other times I feel like she's just doing the same thing over. She came on here talking about she's always dating these athletes and stars and or athletes, ball players or whatever. I guess because she's a cheerleader. And she talks about how she gets dogged out by him and it just never goes anywhere. And that whole gregarious guy. And then she falls for a guy like Clay. Like, isn't that just 2.0? I know she thinks he's different because deep down, he's now admitted and revealed he's really insecure. Well, duh, we all kind of know that. When a person has so much bravado on the outside, like you start to learn over the course of time, I know I'm older, you start to learn over the course of time that much of that bravado is a cover up for what their real insecurities and weaknesses are. Let's be real. A lot of people who have all this exterior bravado are covering up a weakness. And by the end of this whole 6 episodes, we find out that Clay really just wanted to be curled up in the bed underneath AD all the time, like he says. Is Clay really ready to stay out them streets? I don't trust Clay. I think Clay needs so much validation. I mean, a lot of it. And even though I know AD is kind of the perfect person for it because she gives men a lot of validation, a lot, right? And he needs a lot. In a lot of ways, you say that could be a great couple. But can she keep it up? That's what I'm wondering, because Clay needs a lot. Clay's the type of person where he needs validation, period. And if you don't give it to him as his wife, he will go out in the world and find it from other women. That's what he strikes me as. I feel like he has the propensity to be a really bad cheater. I hope not. I really hope not, because, initially he started off egotistical, which he even still admits he has got a big ego. But his ego is because he's really craving attention and love, right? And he talks tough and acts tough. But then, that he was getting broke down on this. He was getting broke down on these first 6 episodes, y'all. He was getting broke down. He was crying. He had to pull the blanket over his head. He was like, I'm broke down. I'm trying to come in here act like I'm all tough, but I'm weak as a lamb. I'm weak as a lamb. And then you have AD who comes along, and she's such the consummate cheerleader. She cheers him on, to finally he's able to admit, this is really what I want. I want to be loved unconditionally. I want a woman to ride or die with me no matter what. And that tends to be AD's personality. So much so that she was able to even break down this Matthew fella. He's a whole character. Matthew, good Lord, he reminded me of like some type of serial killer. That was so creepy, y'all, when Matthew was saying the exact same things to AD that he was also saying to the other lady. It wasn't Laura. I forgot what her name was. But wasn't that really weird that he was saying the exact same things to both of them? They always say, trust your first gut, your first instinct, right? And when we first saw Matthew come on the screen and he was like, boom, 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 right? The way he was treating people, asking them questions, being rude, that was the real Matthew. But what Matthew started to realize was that wasn't getting him where he needed to go. So he switched up. And that's when he's trying to start saying, okay, yeah, let me be open and vulnerable. But even that was just a big act. It really isn't who he is. I think Matthew was what we saw on the very first episode when he was boom, 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 boom. I have 15 questions. You can answer one of them. Give me your answer. No, give me a better answer. Do this. I think that was the real Matthew. But then what Matthew decided was, hey, this isn't working as a manipulation tactic. And then what he decided to do was he decided, okay, I'm going to play this new role, this new character. And this new character is going to be the one that opens up in front of AD. And then AD believes she's the one that cracked the pistachio, as she says. No, you didn't crack the pistachio. The crazy, diabolical serial killer of Matthew just came up with a new strategy. And you makes it look like you're the one who opened him up. But in reality is he's actually the one still manipulating you. It was really just all so very weird. He was very, 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 very scary. But when they first came on, I got these notes where I started talking about when Chelsea first met Trevor. And Trevor was coming on talking about he likes dogs. What are the things some of you like make you smile? He was like dogs, sunny days, butterflies, good love movies, The Notebook. He was fully showing his whole heart. He's this tough guy on the outside with all these muscles, but he's a good guy on the inside. I knew from episode 1 that Chelsea was a liar. I'm going to tell y'all. I wish I could have done, my video after episode 1, because then I could have proved to you guys I saw she was a liar from the beginning. Because what I saw Chelsea doing was that no matter what a person said, even though if it wasn't her own fault, she was just making herself be appealing to that guy. Because there was a part when Trevor admitted he had a mullet. First she said, well, just don't be the guy with a mullet. And then he started laughing because he had a mullet. And when he said he had a mullet, you know what she said? She didn't stick to the point that she didn't like mullets. She then started saying, oh, I love mullets. Girl, no, you don't. You're lying. You're lying. And that's when I knew right then and there Chelsea was a liar. I knew long before she got to this Megan Fox story that she was a liar. And I knew what she was really trying to do was to beat out Jessica. Because Jessica was a very pretty girl, very pretty lady. And she knew that Jessica looked better than her. And so she didn't know if Jimmy knew what Jessica looked like or if they had started talking about looks either. So that's when she decided to do this whole Megan Fox thing. Girl, in fact, Jessica looks more like Megan Fox than Chelsea does. I don't even... That was so horrendous. It was one of the most horrendous things. The other part I knew about Chelsea when I knew she was foul, because one, she said she was a flight attendant, but if you listen to her, she's a flight attendant, she was a yoga instructor, she went to salon school, she started talking about, I'm the only one that didn't go to college, this and that, this and that. What I started to pick up on Chelsea was Chelsea flip-flops around a lot. She starts things, finishes things, which tells me she doesn't really know who she is. It's like she's just grabbing at straws in life. And I think she does that even in her dating life. I don't think that Chelsea can be who she is because she's so busy trying to win this guy or this whatever. She really isn't being kind of who she is. And so I think even her career looks like that. I'm a flight attendant. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm a hair salon stylist. I'm this, I'm that. Girl, you're only 30 years old. You're only 30 years old. Why are you all over the place? I already knew Chelsea was unstable. I knew that she wasn't being honest. Not only with us, I knew that she wasn't being honest with herself. And then later on, when she finally does tell Jimmy that she was married before, even that was a lie. Did you hear her when she tried to sneak it in? She goes, oh, I never told you I was married. He's like, no. This was after he had gotten the bomb dropped on him that Jennifer had a 10-year-old. He got that bomb dropped on him. Then he comes to Chelsea, and then Chelsea tried to pretend like she had told him before. Oh, no, she had done that to it wasn't Jim. He's like, no, you had never told me that before. Oh, I didn't tell you that before. I was like, Chelsea's a liar. Chelsea's a big liar, but who cares? Jimmy ain't no prize either. Jimmy was all about the looks, and he ain't no prize. He ain't no good-looking man either. Good Lord. At least he didn't lie, though. He did not lie, but it ain't like he's the most Fortune 100, most good-looking man anyway. But he did get set up by Chelsea. He fell for it. And when they finally did meet at the reveal, when he was about to propose, when he was supposed to propose, he had a look of horror on his face when he saw her. He kept wanting to call her out and saying, you know, you did get me a little bit. You tricked me. He didn't want to propose. Did you guys see how long it took him after the reveal to even propose? Most people, you come out, you see each other, you hug, you kiss, and the guy gets down on one knee like right away. But not Jimmy. Jimmy took forever to propose to Chelsea. He sat down. He probably had to want to have lunch, dinner. I think the producers had to probably finally tell Jimmy, you need to propose. Because I don't think he was going to do it, y'all. I think at that moment, he really wanted to walk away. I do not believe that he wanted to propose to her. Have they slept together on this honeymoon or whatever? They're on the retreat there in the DR in the Dominican Republic. Have they slept together? I don't think so. I wonder if he will even sleep with her. It's weird. It's weird. And then all that stuff he did at the retreat when he was talking about AD and about her body was stacked. Oh my God. That was so cringy, so horrible. As much as I know that Chelsea's a liar, I feel bad for her then. That's like a whole nother level of disrespect. To say in front of your wife, your girl, oh my gosh, AD is stacked. And then to go over there and give her all that attention and talk to her like that. I just thought, ooh, this was too much. Actually, I didn't like any of the sexualizing of AD. There was really way too much conversation about AD's body for my liking. It was really too much conversation. She seemed to be okay with it, I guess, because maybe she gets a lot of attention like that, period. So she's used to it. But that doesn't mean that she likes it. But it was just way too much conversation from the men and the women about AD's body. And I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. You could tell a lot of women were embarrassed and threatened by it. Several women didn't like the body that AD had, and it made them feel a bit insecure about their own body. Shoot, I would have felt insecure walking around next to AD. She looked good. That body was on point. It was on point, but what he did, Jimmy saying that to her, it was out of line. And in fact, when he was talking to her, a part of me felt like she gave him a little bit too much attention, too much conversation. I felt that that conversation went on a little bit too long. It reminds me of like last year when we've seen these things where the people give other people's husbands or wives too much attention at the mixer or whatever you call it. I didn't like it. I didn't know. I don't think she was flirting with him, but I felt like he was definitely flirting with her. And I didn't like how she didn't cut that flirting off. I really wish. I was waiting for Clay to come over and be really mad about it. I really was. I was waiting for there to be a blow up between her and Clay. And he'd be like, what you doing over here talking to my woman about this kind of stuff? Because let me tell you, Jimmy was shooting his shot. He was trying to figure out if she really liked Clay, so that possibly he might even be able to move in and have a chance. That's what I believe. I believe he was trying to find out who all liked each other to see who else is going to be free. Because he already done plotted he ain't staying with Chelsea. He already know he is not staying with this woman. He's not attracted to her. So one is I didn't like how they sexualized AD, but I also didn't like how I felt she should have like cut the conversation off. And I felt like she should have moved away from him and, you know, didn't talk about that. I thought that was just all so very weird. And then later on, when Chelsea's confronting Jimmy on it, he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing's wrong. I mean, he saw nothing in it whatsoever, but he's continually lying. If he tells this girl one more time how gorgeous and pretty she is, I'm like, that's a dead giveaway. You lying right now. Because he says it over and over again. I guess he figures if I just keep saying it 10, 15, 20, 30 times, maybe I too will start believing it. But Chelsea don't believe it. Chelsea, this is what happened when you start lying. When you knew you lied and you knew you tricked him and you knew what you were doing because you wanted to turn him away from Jessica, this is what you get. This is what you get. You get a man that you tricked, and now you got to live with the trick, and now your trick is falling apart. But in the end, to be honest with you, I don't think Jessica was going to be for Jimmy anyway. It really didn't matter. In fact, Jessica ought to be happy. She really ought to be happy that she didn't get chosen by Jimmy, because I think he's superficial. I think he is real superficial. And the truth be told, Jessica really wasn't into Jimmy. Jessica just wanted to leave with somebody. Did you see that whole speech she gave Jimmy in the end when she was mad and how you messed up my experience? I wasn't supposed to leave here without anybody. I was supposed to leave with somebody. She was talking about how she and her daughter all had these plans. Jessica already had a love note written to some anonymous man. Maybe a lot of people thought that was, romantic or sweet, that she had written a letter already to her husband. I didn't. That made me start to feel like Jessica was just plug and play. Because they really, to be honest with you, I don't know if they even had a lot of things in common. Just like I don't even know if Chelsea and Jimmy had a lot of things. It's almost as if Jessica just wanted to go away with a man, period. She wanted to win. She wanted to go away with a proposal. She wanted to go away with a husband. That's what I believe. And I believe her chances were ruined by Jimmy because he strung her along. And what she's saying is, had I known you really felt this way, that you really didn't want to be a father to my 10-year-old, I could have gone off and met another man. Well, I don't know, Jessica. Maybe there weren't any men there, period, who wanted to be a stepdad to your 10-year-old. It doesn't mean that people don't love kids, they don't like kids, but it's not necessarily what everybody wants. Especially on a Love is Blind. So you're marrying a stranger, and not only is that stranger a stranger to you, it's going to be a stranger to your daughter too. Is this the first time we've had a Love is Blind contestant with children? I don't know. That seems a little bit, I don't know. It just seems a little bit an extra level of, I don't know, risk or danger when it comes to kids. I'm sure as an adult, you can handle it being married to a stranger, Love is Blind. But introducing a person to a Love is Blind situation to your daughter and it doesn't go right, I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to experiment with something different on Love is Blind, but I can't remember any other time when they had a person on the show that already had a kid. And what do y'all think about the fact that Jessica said it? She she took some time before she told Jimmy the truth. I mean, their case could be made was she should have said it up front, right? So in a lot of ways, Jimmy really could have snapped back and said, hey, you want to say that I'm stringing you along, but you wrote me in those first couple of 2 or 3 days without telling me, right? And sure, Jessica said, well, it's not something you want to lead with. Well, why not? If you know that people out here don't want to be stepdaddies, if you know that there really are men who don't want to be with women who already have kids, you should have said it up front. But you didn't want to say it up front because you didn't want to ruin your chances of being able to snag the guy. So in a lot of ways, what Jessica's complaining about, she kind of did it to him too, right? They both strung each other along. She strung him along in the beginning by not telling him the truth for whatever reasons, and then he strung her along in the back half. You know, and Jessica, I don't even think that she has the personality for Jimmy. Jimmy already said he needs a soft woman who's going to let him lead. And Jessica is a leader all in her right. She even said it. She's, oh, a lot of people look at me like I'm the alpha female. Well, she didn't say alpha female. She said, a lot of people look at me like I'm the alpha male. But deep down inside, I'm really not that. Yeah, you are. You're an alpha female. And I mean, ain't nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it because there's plenty of men who love alpha females. But the fact that she was trying to pretend that she was an alpha female, I was like, girl, you're trying to pretend like you're not one because a lot of men say they don't like it. That's why she's trying to pretend she's not one, but she is one. She is one. So now what she's going to do is she's going to lie and say she's not an alpha female. She's going to go and try and attract a guy who's not attracted to alpha females. Then she's going to become an alpha female. Then he's going to be turned off. And that's even exactly more what happened to Jimmy. Once she started to come back to her alpha femaleness, and she was telling him off and telling him, don't cut me off and all that other kind of stuff, Jimmy was all the way turned off. There was nowhere else to go but to Chelsea. He was going over there anyway, over there telling Chelsea that he loved her. He didn't love her. He just thought, hey, between the two, a person with a baby and a person that's been married, I'm going to choose the one that's been married. And plus that woman is running around talking about she looks like Megan Fox. She don't look like Megan Fox in the face, and she don't look like Megan Fox in the body. Neither way. It's a thumbs down. It's not Megan Fox nowhere near. Woo! It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Absolutely horrible. But to get back to talking about Amber AD, and when she was talking to this Matthew fella, and he was talking about he was from he's a small town country boy with 600 people. I was like, I don't know. I know there's a whole lot of stuff that go around in towns with only 600 people. They don't get exposed to a lot, AD. They don't get exposed to a lot at all. He's talking about, he grew up learning that showing emotion was weakness. He said now he's out here seeing a therapist. That's good. He need to keep seeing that therapy, because the stuff that he was pulling on this show, let me tell you, it was wild. And she was like, I don't know how a man from the country only with 600 people is going to match with a city girl from Boston. But once Clay found out that his competition was Matthew, that was hilarious. He was like, you got to be effing kidding me. You got to be kidding me that you're in a dilemma between me and Matthew. I think he lost a little bit of respect with AD on that one. I thought he lost a little bit of respect. But after the whole Matthew thing fell apart, it's like AD went right back to her type, which is Clay, which is the guy the athlete who needs a lot of attention, who needs a lot of pumping up, whose ego is large. She's got that with Clay. And now she's running over here talking to Jimmy when they in the privacy of the little private conversation on the beach, talking about it's a lot. He's a lot. I don't know if I can handle all this being a lot. Another couple I don't think is going to make it is Laura and Jeremy. We know they're not going to make it. They have nothing in common. Nothing in common. She went around saying that, oh, even though we don't have some of the same hobbies and although we don't have some of the same family values, we can still make it. No, you can't. No, you can't. Jeremy is over here talking about he wants Christmases and, family time and Santa and baking cookies. And Laura's over here talking about she hates Christmas. They do not share the same goals as what. And now Jeremy's trying to figure out, you know what? I don't know if I could take Laura. You couldn't take her in the pods. You should have never been with her. Never been with her. Laura is way too hardcore for Jeremy, and she don't even like him. She's irritated by him already. You can see she's rolling her eyes. She don't like the goofiness of him. She don't like his style of joking. She don't like nothing about him whatsoever. They are going nowhere. It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that they're not gonna make it. I don't even know. I don't know if any of the I don't know if any of these couples gonna make it. At first, I was thinking that Brittany and her guy Kenneth might make it, but I saw the previews coming up for the next episodes, and she's over there complaining that he don't even like to talk. He's boring. He's boring. A period. Boring, boring, boring. And probably when he was going out with black girls were telling him he ain't got no swag. So that's why he went on here and decided, okay, maybe I ought to do Love is Blind. And he got tricked too, because he was thinking that she was going to be blonde. He may not even be attracted to her. Because when he says, oh, what do you think she looked like? Oh, she got to be blonde. He was all excited. He wanted a blonde white girl. He didn't want no brunette. Let's see in the end if he's even attracted to Brittany, or if he's just talking. If he's just saying it, if he's going to use the Lord as his excuse for not really wanting to be with her and not having no sexual chemistry with her. Let's see if he uses the Lord for not having premarital sex to be his reason, because I don't think he's attracted to her. I think what he wanted was what he said. He wanted a blonde white woman. He didn't want no brunette white woman. That's what he wanted. And he ended up getting a brunette. And I don't think he's going to be happy either. I don't think he's going to be happy either. But I'm looking at my notes when AD and Clay were talking about saying, she was asking us, do you really think you're ready for marriage? He goes, I believe I'm ready. He ain't ready. Did you see when he proposed to AD? And he was like, when you take this beautiful hand, and he was talking about his own hand. It was a part later on in the episodes. He was telling AD, yeah, will you take this beautiful hand? I was like, Clay, it ain't supposed to be your hand is beautiful. Her hand is supposed to be the one that's beautiful. I tell you, his ego is bigger than the TV screen. Yeah, it's bigger than between Clay and Jimmy, they both of them are two playboys, hustlers out here in these streets. You could tell that with Jimmy. Jimmy got a gift for gab. He's used to running around in these streets, flirting with women. And when he showed up at that, when they showed up in the Dominican Republic and all the wives came out, he realized he had the least attractive wife out of everybody. Jimmy, who's all about looks more than anybody, had the least attractive wife out of everybody. Let's be real. But what's going on with Amy and Johnny? Amy and Johnny. I think they could make a chance. I think she's being real honest, Amy from Puerto Rico. She talked about how she's used to going out with more ethnic men, probably men who are maybe Latino or something like that, or just have olive skin. And she's not really used to Johnny with the, I don't know if he has blue eyes, but blonde hair. He said he's really never been anywhere. He wants to go to Japan. He ain't never left the country. Right? You think they're going to make it? He really loves her. He thinks she is gorgeous and beautiful. Gorgeous and beautiful. And she seems like she's starting to grow into him more. But secretly behind her, she got a lot of trauma, y'all. A lot of trauma. And that story, she was talking about how she used to be depressed as a child. And then she really wanted a brother. And her mother had a brother. And now her brother has autism. And she needs a man that might be willing to take over the brother. Something tells me that's not like if it can happen. Something tells me that's what's going to happen. There's a part of me that felt like she was telling that story about the possibility that might happen if something happens to her dad. Because I feel like it's already happening. I think she already sees she's going to have to care for her brother, period. Maybe her dad is older. Maybe he's getting sick. Maybe the brother is too much for him and he needs a break. I don't know. But it seems as if she was setting up a scenario where that's more likely than not. And she really needs a guy. And I don't know if that's going to be the man that she married. But he's really into her. He really is into her. Sometimes I was getting mixed feelings about, does she really like him? Sometimes I was like, oh, she really likes him. Another time I felt like, I don't know. But right now I'm going to stick with that she does and that she's growing into it. I think he is different than what she's used to. The question is going to be is if she can work her way through it, because he's all in. He is absolutely all in. I'm looking at these notes that I wrote down about Clay and Amber. Amber Desiree, that's what AD stood for. Amber Desiree. He was Clayton. He was talking about he loves to cuddle and flirt. AD, you've been on my mind all day. She said she knows he's still a ladies' man, but she's still curious because she don't like to stay away from that fire. AD like what she like, what she like, what she like. That's what I'm saying. A lot of women say they want something different, but in the end, they go back to what's comfortable. After the whole thing went down with Matthew, and he acted a whole fool and came out like Jeffrey Dahmer, she went right back to what she knows. Nervous but comfortable. That's what she said. Nervous but comfortable. I put down here that Jimmy looked like Peyton Manning. Remember Peyton Manning used to play for the Colts? He retired now. I was like, Jimmy looked like a Peyton Manning. So maybe we got Peyton Manning and we got a bootleg Peyton Manning and a bootleg Megan Fox. Jimmy said he had a tough upbringing. I forgot about that. Did he say he grew up poor? Who was that who said they lived in a room? A whole bunch of them living in one room. I think that was Jimmy. Yeah, because he was saying that he was first generation college and he was proud to go to college. And I think Chelsea that's when she started bringing, well, I never went to college. I didn't think I had to go. That's another reason why I didn't really think they lined up. Because I felt like Jimmy was trying to say, I'm the first generation to go to college. And maybe he wanted to continue that tradition on with like his kids. But then I felt like Chelsea kind of like downplayed going to college. Like, it's okay if you don't go to college, but I don't think you should then go back and act like, I don't know, just like I don't think people should put down people who don't go to college. I don't think people who didn't go to college should put down people who went to college. And for some reason, I felt like Chelsea was insecure that she didn't go to college. So instead of like, admiring it in their person and say it's great, and instead what she did was act like it ain't no big deal. It ain't no big deal. Yeah, Jimmy got played. He got played, but I don't care because I'm not no big fan of his. She should have picked Trevor, because in fact, when Chelsea and Jimmy were at the beach in the Dominican Republic and they were talking about their types, basically Jimmy keeps trying to tell her, you ain't my type. and even Chelsea said she's used to men with a lot of muscles, and that was going to be Trevor. Trevor had all those muscles, and poor Trevor, he was like a little puppy dog sitting around waiting for Chelsea to pick him. And Chelsea never had she was never going to pick Trevor. She always wanted Jimmy. And I think what Chelsea wanted even more than Jimmy, to be honest with y'all, I think she wanted to beat Jessica. That's what I really believe. She really wanted to beat Jessica because she didn't really have much in common with Jimmy either. But what it was I think Chelsea's so insecure that Jessica, because she has the outer beauty, I think Chelsea wanted to be chosen over her. I think it had to do a lot with competition against Jessica. I really, really do. And now she is paying the piper. She is paying the piper. Oh, it was Chelsea who told Trevor when she said, oh yeah, I have a kid. Didn't I tell you? I thought it was Jimmy when she tried to pretend. No, it was actually Trevor. Didn't I tell you already? He was like, no, you never told me. But then he was like, it's okay. It doesn't matter anyway. But she was trying to pretend like she had chose Trevor. She never chose Trevor. She never chose Trevor. I got on here when AD was talking about in the beginning, all the ladies were real chummy in the house. But then after a while, everything started to become competition. And so they didn't want to like start telling each other who they liked and stuff like that. Probably because of what happened last year when them girls were trying to be friends. People were trying to be friends with the ladies more so than trying to be on here to find Love is Blind. And that didn't go over well. So this new group of people said, I ain't revealing none about who I like. No one that I like. But AD, I don't know, a lot of the part that she does, I put on here that she started talking about... When she started talking to Clay, talking about, I know Clay's ego is very huge and a man of his caliber. I was like, AD, girl, you are really gassing him up. You are really gassing him up. She was like, a man of his caliber, and I believe you do have caliber because you told me so. Girl, that ain't how you determine whether a man has caliber just because he told you so. Which man ain't gonna say I'm high caliber? They all gonna lie. It's for you to decide. It's for you to look and you to decide. She said there's a lot of competition up in here in this house. Oh, AD. The way she was begging for Clay, I didn't like that, y'all. I really did not like when Clay, remember when Clay was yelling at her and screaming at her? That was horrible. That should have told her then she shouldn't be with this man. And then he tried to come back and say, oh, it's just because I'm wounded. It's too late. If you wounded, then go get healed. Don't be coming on here and let me love you through all your woundedness. Even AD says that's been her problem in the past, that she has tried to love a lot of people through their woundedness, and she ends up being the one that gets hurt. Clay is absolutely wounded. He really is. I mean, they're here already now, so it's not like I don't root for people's love. I hope it ends well. I really, really do. But he just seems like he's got so much going on, and he's never even had therapy. He's like now tomorrow, yeah, maybe I should go to therapy. You should. You should have been in therapy. He should have been in therapy. But yeah, he's talking about how he learned in his past relationship he doesn't really provide emotional security to women. Not because he's so busy worrying about his own emotional security. He's so busy worrying about the woman keeping him emotionally secure. He doesn't look at doing it for other people. And when he started telling all that stuff, like, I ain't going to go out with no woman unless I'm physically attracted to her. And he was really trying to figure out what AD looked like. And I was proud of AD at that time when she says, well, I'm not putting up with this. I'm not doing this. And she walked away. That was when she was still, had Matthew on the hook. But once Matthew wasn't on the hook, she came back and spilled all the beans. She let him know right away. She got butts, she petite, she got everything. Because at first she was holding firm. She's like, I just think that, that doesn't serve the purpose of the show. But then she over there talking to Matthew about what, that she's black and all this other kind of stuff. And then once Matthew dropped out, she was willing and ready to give Clay some hints. She's like, I got to lock him down. So if that's what he wants, I'm going to give it to him. So in the end, she kind of did just fall into whatever he wanted. He said he had to know. I mean, were all of you afraid that he wasn't going to like what he saw when he saw her? I was really afraid that when he saw her physically in person, I was like, oh God, I hope he likes the way she looks. I knew he was going to like her body, because who wouldn't like her body? Your body's on point. As Jimmy said, she's stacked. But I was hoping, making sure that he was going to like all of her, not only her body, but her personality and her face. And I don't know if he's lying, but he sure puts on that he thinks she's beautiful. She's gorgeous. He seems to really be into her. So I guess I'm just going to have to believe it, unless he's doing the same thing Jimmy's doing to Chelsea. Because he says he's really into looks, which means he's probably been out here in the world being very picky on looks. I hope Chelsea really fits the bill. Or unless he's over here gassing her up, just like Jimmy is trying to tell Chelsea. But Chelsea already knows Jimmy's lying. Chelsea already knows that Jimmy's lying. Because once Clay found out that AD also liked Matthew, he was mad. Matthew was running around talking about he's protective of her. Yeah, he was protective in a creepy kind of way. Really creepy kind of way. I mean, not only were the women scared of Matthew, the men were scared too. He was laying it on thick though. I'm reading all my notes. He was talking about his greatest accomplishments was finding her. He wanted to call his mom and tell his mom about her. Woo! He was saying the exact same thing to everybody else. Now that was crazy. I wonder if he was a production plant. But when AD was finally reconciling her story, right? And she was telling the other girl, I think it was what was the other girl that Matthew was liking? I don't know why I keep thinking her name was Laura, but when they were reconciling their stories, I mean, AD, I had to tell her, she kept a poker face. When that girl was telling her everything Matthew had said, AD was sitting over there going, oh, really? Really? She did not reveal in that moment that he had said the exact same thing to her. I have my notes down here that AD's poker face was on point. It was so on point. Yeah, I'm reading my notes about Jeremy and Laura. They're not a good fit. Jeremy's a big personality because, he's into construction. And Lauren, she's loud and obnoxious too. They gonna clash. They are really gonna clash. In fact, we already know they're gonna clash because I think next week, we saw some previews of Sarah Ann's coming back and Jeremy trying to push up on Sarah Ann. But Jeremy, I don't know about Jeremy, y'all. He told this one story. My little spidey senses be going on when people tell certain stories. Jeremy told this one story about he had a 4-bedroom house, but he sold it and now he's written it because he wants to buy a house with his wife. I don't believe that, Jeremy. I think you have money problems. Don't nobody do that. They just buy another house when they get married. If you already have a house, you say, you know what? When I get married, I want to be able to have a house with my wife. I don't want her to have to move into this house like she's in my space. I get that. I get that sentiment. But what you don't do is you don't just go sell the house before you even met somebody and live in an apartment. That's a lie. Jeremy probably had money problems. He in the construction business. Shoot, that construction business is up and down, up and down. Anything could have happened. Shoot, in these last 3-4 years with construction, anything, a lot of these interest rates is high. Hell, ain't nobody building nothing, Jeremy. Ain't nobody building nothing. I'm reading my notes about Johnny and Amy when she started talking about her brother that's ADHD. And she's all tearing up over the brother. I think Amy has some instability in her mental. She talks a lot about her fears. She talks a lot about, like, sometimes some of them seem like irrational fears too. I don't want to, I don't know. I think Amy might have a little bit of emotional insecurity. I mean, the type of tears she was having, she's talking about dreams she has of her brother, and it was making her just break down over that. And I just thought, oh my gosh, a dream. A dream. I'm reading my notes when AD said that AD said that she's a fix-a-hole and she always lets men practice on her because Matthew was an effing scumbag, but here she is right over there with Clay again. A man like Clay trying to get himself back together. He is talking about he want to go to therapy. He want to be a better person. But is he just going to be practicing on AD again? A part of me, I hope AD don't get her heart broken. I really hope Clay has come around, y'all. I would really love it. I would really love if when AD was cracking the pistachio of Matthew, then now she cracked the cracked open Clay. I really do hope so. I hope they make it. I hope that AD is what Clay needed. That even though Clay has a lot of insecurities and a large ego, that AD being the consummate cheerleader, cheering people on, making them feel welcome, making them feel comfortable, that will be enough for Clay. And I hope Clay does not treat her horribly. But he's a lot of work. But did Clay ever have any other lady that he was talking to? We never saw that. Remember? I mean, we never saw Clay talking to any other woman, which we knew that he did. I wonder who's Clay's other backup woman. I wonder who his other backup woman, because you didn't hear many women talking about how bad Clay was. Because even when AD started talking about Matthew, he got so livid, he got so upset. And when she finished talking, she was like, nothing you even talk about has anything to do with me, so I don't even know why you talking to me about this. I was like, Clay is out the box. Where was Clay from? He sounded like he from the East Coast. East Coast people, they be straight shooting. He was like, how the hell am I going to be in a love triangle with Matthew? Of all the people. He was like, you going to regret that. He told AD, you going to regret that. But let me tell you, the biggest cuss out of all was when Jessica cussed out Jimmy and told Jimmy, basically, when you see what you skipped over, when you see what you missed out on, he says you gonna choke. She said you gonna choke on your words. You gonna need an EpiPen. That was the best line of all the 6 episodes was when Jessica told Jimmy, "You gonna need an EpiPen when you see that girl." When you see Chelsea, you gonna need an EpiPen because you gonna be all the way choked out. I'm telling you, I am telling you, that was one of the best lines of the whole six episodes. Oh, I got to hear in my notes too that I don't know, for some reason at one point in time Clay was reminding me of Bill Bellamy. Y'all know the comedian Bill Bellamy. Is it just me or did Clay remind anybody else of Bill Bellamy? I got these notes on here about Brittany and Ken. Like I said, Ken wanted a blonde. He wanted a blonde. Brittany, I like her and everything. I really liked her. She used to be a teacher, but I guess she's not a teacher anymore. And I don't know. Is she acting? Did she really think Kenneth was good looking? Did she really like what she saw? Something about Ken. I mean, he don't really have much of a personality. He's really not fun. He's not outgoing. He don't really like to talk. And Brittany seemed like she's got a little bit more of a personality. So she's going to have to carry all the fun, all the conversation, and Ken ain't going to offer nothing. He's kind of boring. That's probably why he's had problems in dating. Because he don't bring much enthusiasm. He doesn't bring much conversation. He said he's a worship leader at his church, and then when they was at the Dominican Republic, he says every day before they go to bed, he wants to hear about their day, do check in, what you're happy about, what you're not happy about. Okay. Okay, Kenny, if you say so. That they're twins. Mom and aunt's a twin. Her mama's a twin. The trauma bonding. Oh, I had that about Brittany and Kenny. Maybe that's what they doing, trauma bonding. Because she said he was saying that his mom was a twin. Kenny was saying. And I think her mom was a twin. So it's like if they had kids, it's a high chance they're going to have twins. Because they got a lot of twins between the two of them. I mean, they stories they was telling and stuff, it almost sounded like they was kind of trauma bonding a little bit. I'm reading my notes of the time when Chelsea finally told Jimmy that she looked like Megan Fox. I put down here catfish. I guess it ain't technically catfish, but it sure was some trickery. It was some trickery. Because, look at these notes I got in here about Dion. Remember Dion? He was 26. He was talking to Jessica, and Jessica was talking about how her parents were drug addiction. That's another thing that turned off Jimmy. Jimmy was not ready to take on the life of Jessica. Oh yeah, I'm reading my notes. Jessica, her parents had drug addiction. She was a foster care. She was in and out of different families. I think she mentioned her dad went to prison. Somebody committed suicide. I think it was her dad. Jessica's had a tough life. She really has gone through a lot. And let me tell you, like she was saying, people on the outside and look at her as alpha female, but on the inside, she wants to be led. Girl, you are alpha female. There ain't nothing wrong with it because you've had to be. I mean, the type of life she described, she couldn't be no damsel in distress. She's had to really take care of a lot. But I understand how she wants to come in now and have somebody take care of her. It may be what she wants, but I'm not for sure it's who she is. Because the minute Jimmy messed up, girl, she flipped quickly. But she has a lot of trauma, and Jimmy ain't here. He ain't here for no woman with been married. He ain't here with no woman with no kids, and he definitely ain't here for no woman like Jessica with all this stuff in her past. Because I think he got a lot in his past. He already said he grew up with a bunch of people in one room. He already said you grew up with a bunch of people in one room. Oh, Amber was the girl that Matthew was double timing. Amber's like, I'm out of here. Once Amber knew the truth, he was like, she's out of here. And then later on, when AD dismissed Matthew says, I'm leaving. I'm going to go find Amber. Girl, Amber, you better run. Put a lock on your door. Change your number because that man is crazy. Amber, don't let Matthew back in. Don't let Matthew back in. But I guess they set us up with all these couples. Maybe we're going to have some switching going on like last year. Remember we had Zach and Irene at first, and then Zach ended up being with what's the young lady's name? I loved her. She was so sweet from the last season. They got married. Now they're pregnant and having a baby. Loved her. They made such a good couple last year. We didn't think at first, but then as soon as I saw them together on screen, I was like, oh, they're perfect for each other. So maybe we're gonna have some of that going on. Maybe we're gonna have Chelsea end up getting with Trevor because Trevor loves Chelsea's dirty draws, and he said he don't care what she looked like. He said I could care less what she looked like. That's who she need to be with. So maybe in the end, that's what we'll see. Maybe we'll see Trevor. Maybe we'll see the opposite. Maybe we'll see Trevor taking Chelsea because Chelsea made the wrong decision, and maybe that'll be the love story. I'm here for it because I love love. So whichever way it comes, I'll be ready for it. I'll be ready for it. I'm looking at when Clay was broke down and Clay was finally apologizing to Amber AD about, he apologized. He was triggered. He felt that he wasn't enough, and she was weak and she was vulnerable. And she was like, I didn't feel like you met me with any compassion. He said he was triggered. Like I said, Clay got a lot going on back there. He definitely needs to go to therapy. But at least he admitted that deep down inside, he's very sensitive. He is very, very, very sensitive. So at least he can drop the tough guy act. But he says he wants to get better for her. He wants to get better for her. And Amber's gassing him up. AD is gassing him up. So I really, really hope that it continues. I'm looking at my notes from Brittany when she was trying to get... She was trying to get out of Kenny what his ethnicity was. What's ethnicity of your family? Girl, that's the same thing as asking him what his ethnicity is. That's a roundabout way. Like I said, love ain't blind. Love is not blind. Love might be hard of seeing. Love might need some glasses, but it ain't all the way blind. And she's like, what do you think I look like? He's like, long hair and blonde. Boy, Kenny. Kenny don't like Brittany. I'm gonna go down on record for it. I'll see if I'm wrong. Kenny want a blonde with long hair. He didn't want no brunette. And Kenny want the white girl he really want, and that ain't Brittany. But did y'all see how AD was hemming up? How AD was hemming up Kenny, talking about, are you sure she ready for this life? And I was like, what you talking about, AD? He says she gonna have to raise black kids. She gonna have to raise black kids. AD, you asking the wrong question because Kenny don't care about raising no black kids. He don't want none either. You over here worried about Kenny. Can Brittany raise his black kids? The problem is, I don't know if Kenny want black kids. Something tells me that this stuff with Kenny is more than just finding love. I don't know. I ain't with it. I'm reading how Jeremy got sleep apnea and he wear his CPAP. But he didn't bring it with him. Why not? Shoot, you're going to die out there and die and stop breathing. You better bring it. You got to bring it. That's what I'm saying. He and Laura don't have nothing in common. He talking about how he misses all his family stuff at holidays. And it was finally his grandmother who told him, you know what? Because I guess he comes from an Italian family. He was like, if that's what you want, even though we don't do it anymore as a family, you're going to have to recreate it. And Laura was the one running around talking about she can't stand Christmas. She can't stand Christmas. But Sarah Ann ain't no better match for Jeremy either, because the reason he got rid of her was because she had too many followers and she had lip injections. I'm reading my notes right now. I couldn't remember it, but the reason he didn't like her was because she had lip injections, Botox, and fillers, and she had all them followers. And he was like, I don't want no woman all over TikTok and Instagram with men googly eyeing her. But he might be interested now that he realized he don't really like Laura. Sarah talking about she brings an edginess to her, but when she started talking about them Botox and lip fillers and she got all these 40,000 followers or something, he was turned off. Oh, but she says, I'm conservative though. She started talking about her conservative talk or conservative beliefs. I think she was talking about politically. And then they start talking about abortion and everything, about women's right to choose. But she didn't believe in abortion, as a form. I better not say that word. But if you've been, the R word, she thought you should have a choice. But they must have had another conversation about the LGBTQ too. And then she was like, he said, I believe a person should be able to marry who they want to marry. So I wonder how she felt about that. I hope they don't have different political leanings, because that would be a problem too. That could be a problem too. Yeah, I got my notes on here about Kenny. Like, Kenny, you in a whole church. A church is full of women and you can find no woman in there. Probably because he go to a black church. Yeah. But he don't really want a black woman. Anyway, Kenny, I kind of know who Kenny is. And Laura. was this talking about? Oh, this is oh my good Lord, this is another story with Jessica when she was mad because Jimmy was cracking his knuckles, and she was mad about men who go on Instagram and IG and be lusting after these women, these pictures and stuff, half naked women. She said she didn't like that, and Jimmy was eyes got big because he was like, he knows that's what he does. Shoot, a lot of men do that. That's what I'm telling these women on Instagram, girl. They like free porn for men. And men used to have to pay for that. Used to have to subscribe to them channels and stuff like that to see all this stuff. And now they don't even have to do it. Pay for it. They just go on IG because there's plenty of women who offer it up for free, entertaining men for free. That's so horrible. I don't know why they got a bunch of, and they're not. I don't think they're really trying to do it, but that's what they become. They just become men sitting home with a bottle of baby oil for free. For free. I'm reading the old story about when Chelsea lied, talking about she liked a man with a hair mullet, and I like what I said earlier. She didn't like that. She was just trying to morph into whatever Trevor wanted. Chelsea said she used to men being mean to her all the time. So I don't know what she's doing now. I don't know what she's doing now. Did y'all see when Clay pulled out that Bible verse? I was like, Clay. He trying, y'all. He is trying. I hope it's real. I really hope it's real. But he pulled out that Bible verse and started reading it to AD. I don't even know if she was interested in it. He was like, you validate me in every single kind of way. Oh, good Lord. I mean, how many different times are you going to have to tell Clay, you is wonderful, you is beautiful, you is kind, you is smart. Ooh, you better put a reminder in your phone because he going to need to hear it every hour on the hour. At first, when they was talking to each other, I never even heard them say that they loved each other. Did y'all notice that everybody, all the other couples were like, I love you, I love you, I love you. Even when he proposed, I didn't hear him say I love you. And it wasn't to the very end. I think one of them said something about I love you or something. And then that's when AD did her dance. And I was like, oh, she dropped like Megan Thee Stallion. I put on here, AD got Megan Thee Stallion knees. They finally said, I love you. They finally said, I love each other. But I don't think they was real sappy in love like how these other people were talking. I think they just said it to be saying it. But they could grow in love. I mean, they only known each other through the pods. But I got my fingers crossed. I mean, I'm just sappy for a love story. So I'm always going to err towards the side I want it to be true. But I just hope Clay don't break AD's heart. I really don't hope they don't break AD's heart. Here go another one of these lie stories I wrote down with Chelsea when she was talking to Trevor. And Trevor was like, yeah, I want to go to a soup kitchen and volunteer at a dog shelter. And I was like, Chelsea ain't interested in none of that. But she trying to act like she is. Chelsea was over here just trying to win, period. All she wanted to do was win Jimmy from Jessica. And in the end, she didn't get no prize. She lied, and now she's stuck with a man who don't even think she's cute. Now she is stuck with a man that doesn't even think she's cute. This is ridiculous. But we will see. I'm over here reading the rest of my notes. I'm reading about the big old cuss out Jessica had on Jimmy. When she was talking about, you ruined this opportunity for me. You let me pour out my heart more than once. Jessica was ready for some plug and play. She really was. She was ready for just some plug and play. She just wanted to make sure she left with somebody. It was almost like she was bringing home a gift to her 10-year-old daughter. The man is going to be the gift when I come home. And now she got to come home and her daughter going to be like, why didn't you bring me no ice cream? Because Jimmy was not it for you, Jessica. And you should have known it. Jessica, you should have known it. And now Chelsea is stuck with him. And when Chelsea gave the going away speech to Trevor, talking about, I can't give you all of me right now. Girl, you can't give none of yourself to him. You just said yes, that you'll marry Jimmy. Another lie. That girl, I tell you, Chelsea can lie. She sure can lie. She said, I just can't give all of me to you. I can't give all of myself to you right now. Well, when can you give it? You just said yes, you're going to marry a whole nother man. It was Trevor who had to say, well, it sounds like you can't give me none of you. She said, oh, yeah, that's true, too. So I guess we're going to see if Jeremy pushes up on Sarah Ann, if that goes anywhere. We're going to see if if Trevor ends up getting with Chelsea. We're going to see who is Chelsea accusing Jimmy of sleeping with. You think it's Jessica? Who do we want to see? Who is Chelsea accusing Jimmy of sleeping with? I sure hope it ain't a Jessica, and I sure hope it ain't AD. I hope AD didn't fall for that. I really hope AD did not fall for that. Besides all that foolishness at the DR, I just thought a lot of that was just foolishness. My last note started talking about why they were over sexualizing AD too much. That was kind of the low point for me at that DR. I thought it was way too much talk. Way too much talk. I thought that whole bean dip thing that Jeremy did with Jessica too. I mean, with AD, same thing. Way too much over sexualizing of AD. I thought it was horrible, horrible. Clay didn't like it. He didn't like it at all. He didn't like it. This whole idea of touching some woman's breast. I didn't like none of it. I just thought everybody was talking about AD's body, and I wasn't here for it. I wasn't here for it at all. I thought it was horrible. But anyway, we'll see. They're supposed to be dropping new episodes, I guess, starting on probably on Wednesday or something. The rest of the episodes. So after that, and after I binge watch them all, I'll probably just come back and do one long video again, because I'm not going to be doing separate videos. That's way too much work, y'all. I got a 9 to 5. I got a 9 to 5 job, and I got a whole family. So anyway, that's it, y'all. I hope you have fun listening to me talk about the show. Drop down in the comments. Leave me your comments as well. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.